Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken, not given, joined as always by Ghislaine Maxwell's personal bodyguard, John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Politics. How are you doing today, my friend?
Doing great, doing great. Really, it was a great job until I learned about all the stuff. Like I was with her, for 12 years. I was her personal bodyguard. We were really tight friends. And then all this stuff came out about her. And I will tell you what, haven't spoken to her since. I learned she was a little bit of a perv. I fired her. And now we're going. Would you buy that, TJ?
I don't know if I buy it. The timeline is very important here. Like when did you finally break service with her? Because I thought you were still personally employed with her. Because if memory serves me correctly, she's in a pretty dangerous position right now.
Oh, yeah, she's in a very dangerous position. She is in a minimum security prison, in which is very funny considering if I were her, I would maybe want more security in my prison than the minimum, given what happened to her boyfriend. But God, TJ, we spoke on Thursday. We spoke on Thursday about all this. Since then, we have had a petition to release, bill to release the Epstein Files pass through the House and the Senate. It is currently sitting on Donald Trump's desk, where it has not been signed. It has not been signed. He's waiting for reasons that are beyond my comprehension, because you'd think that the sign no sign decision would have already been made at this point. But TJ, what's your read on the situation so far?
I think he is going to sign it. The thing with Mike Johnson being surprised that the amendments weren't added to the Senate, that seems weird. I see a lot of this going on in the Trump administration. I'm trying to think the first time, one of the first time, but one of the major times I noticed it was during the shutdown. And Donald Trump came out and said that he thought the filibuster should be circumvented in the House, and I mean in the Senate. And they asked Mike Johnson about it. He says, "I didn't hear about that until this morning." Like you think that Trump would be communicating with these guys about how he wants to play this thing, but then it's like, man, these guys, these three, not talking at all. Like I get Trump not talking to those two, but Johnson and Thune not being in lockstep is odd to me. So I don't know what Trump is thinking here, but I do think he's going to sign it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no one knows what he's going to do, because I don't think he knows what he's going to do, TJ. The more I look at this whole thing, the more I'm convinced, because we always talk like conspiracy theories, right? Like when you're going to make a conspiracy theory, I'm going to believe it more if it is the simplest answer to whatever question there is. And the question here is, nothing really makes sense. Like a week ago, Donald Trump was saying, no, do not release the Epstein files. You're a traitor to America and the Republican Party. If you want to release the Epstein files, I'm going to shun my most loyal soldier in Marjorie Taylor Greene. And it just seemed like he was going to stall this out for as long as possible. Then suddenly he reverses course. In fact, even before that, he was saying we should nuke the filibuster and open up the government, knowing full well that the Epstein file vote would come. And then when it did, it seemed like he was caught off guard. I think that he's senile, TJ. Like I think he's crazy. I think he's completely drinking the Kool-Aid. And TJ, I would not be surprised. This is more of a hopeful statement than it is something I'm like, this is definitely the for sure answer. But since we have no reasonable answers, I'm going with this one. This was a Senate coup. I think that the Republicans in the Senate knew they were going to do this the entire time. As soon as they realized what was going on in the House, they realized if that bill went to the Senate, if they unanimously passed it, it would kind of, no matter what Trump said, he'd be in trouble. It'd be very difficult to you can't veto it. He can't veto it. He has no other option. So it passing unanimously, not in coordination with Trump or Mike Johnson, who Mike Johnson is obviously the lapdog for Donald Trump. Like, I don't know. It seems like that might be a bigger deal than we might perceive it to be right now.
Yeah, I think I saw you posted something like that you think this is a soft coup from the Senate and everything. That might be the case because Trump is sounding worse and worse. When you watch what he did, you see the McDonald's speeches that he gave, the speech to the McDonald's franchise owners. He's
Yes,
rambling off.
wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, I know. He was right about the fillet of fish, by the way. Excellent sandwich, highly underrated, maybe the best sandwich at McDonald's. But I, there might be something to this. I don't know if I buy that quite yet. I still think Trump has an ace up his sleeve with the fact that. So for those who are wondering, he didn't need Congress to tell him to release the files, right? He could have done it anytime he wanted, and he just hasn't. But now there's a law saying, hey, when the president signs it, they're going to be released. I think he is going to sign it, but I don't think those Epstein files are coming out. I still stand by that. I don't think they're coming out because, I mean, you've probably seen this, John, that a lot of people think that he's going to use the fact that there's an open investigation now into Larry Summers and Bill Clinton and say, well, hey, listen, we would do what we can, but we're not going to be able to do it because just like the reason Biden couldn't release it is because the Ghislaine Maxwell trial was going on and there was an appeals after she was done and the appeals didn't end until this year. So that's why we couldn't release anything. That's why Trump's going to say he can't release it too. And he can hold that for a while because what are they going to do? Take him to court? And the court's going to say you have to release it. He says, okay, sure, I'll get around to it. But I don't buy the theory that people say that they're going to release a bunch of redacted stuff. It's a lot more complicated than that. And if everyone has access to it, it's going to be hard to hide it anyway. So I think he's just going to hold on to it as long as he can.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most likely explanation. By the way, everyone, this is our Q&A show, so make sure to drop your comments in the comments. That's where you put comments, and we'll make sure to get to them. Yeah, no, we are in a big I don't know right now. Like, rarely are we in such a big I don't know because, as I said, I don't think Trump knows what he's going to do. So it's impossible for anyone to know what is going to happen here. Pam Bondi was speaking today, and she's like, oh, there is an ongoing investigation. That's definitely the card they're playing. But TJ, in order to play that card successfully would require a level of coordination and competency that this administration does not possess. And it does not possess that competency specifically in the legal realm. Did you see what happened with the Comey case today?
Oh my God, that was the least surprising thing that I've ever run across. That yeah, they didn't even present the information to the grand jury. They lied multiple times. I think one of the lies that the prosecutor said was that when James Comey pled the fifth, that meant he was guilty. Only guilty people plead the fifth, which makes you wonder about the quality of the grand jury. Like, really, you guys bought that? But yeah, you're right. The incompetence is wild.
Yeah, and that the thing that stunned me is that she didn't even she tried to pull a fast one. Like, I assumed they did some normal clusterfuckery to get that indictment through, like legal fuckery to get that indictment through. And it turns out, yeah, she just changed the words, got it signed. Like, it's like a fucking 12-year-old trying to change the letter grade on their desk and get a signature from their parent. Like, that is the level of legal shenanigans that this administration is at. Do we, even if they were because they're gonna have to release something, whatever they release is going to be held up to the highest degree of scrutiny possible. And if there's any mess up in there, I mean, he's just creating a giant fucking trap for himself to step in, and we know that he's going to do it. We know that this is not going to have all the I's dotted and T's crossed, even if he manages to hide some of this information that's going to be most damning.
This all started a long time ago. The first step in this because we talked about it and so did everybody else, that it was an odd, I got what Trump was thinking because this is how he is, but in that big dog and pony show he did where he invited all of those right-wing influencers to the White House, gave them those Epstein File Phase 1 binders. And the second that happened, we all knew, okay, that's probably just the old stuff. And it was. And it's like, okay, his fans are not going to be happy about that. And they weren't. They were mad. So then they had to push it a little bit more. And do you remember they released the video of Epstein's prison cell saying, hey, here is the 24 hours window in which Jeffrey Epstein died. And they removed 3 minutes of footage. And it's like, I was like, you didn't have to do either of those, right? No, he didn't have to do any of that, and he did it anyway. And I think you're right. I don't think he knows how to properly navigate this, and is just trying to, throw spaghetti at a wall and see what sticks. And he's actually made the problem a lot worse for him.
Yeah, and for sure. We're gonna get some comments here. Colby says, big shout out to John for his birthday over the weekend and saying he wanted to get with Ana de Armas. John Cooper Paz de Armas. Very funny, Colby. That's actually a great pool because that was a post that I was replying to someone else. So I really appreciate that you're following the deep cut post here, Colby. And we have Deline Narson, 6938, saying, do you think we'll ever get the satisfaction of seeing him held accountable for anything? TJ, have you seen Fall of the House of Usher?
No.
Okay, well, highly recommend.
Mhm.
Great fucking show. But basically, the premise of the show is that all of the rich, evil, powerful people in the world have made deals with death that eventually get paid due. So like it's specifically about the Sackler family, or not about the Sackler family, but they mention Trump in it. They mention a bunch of people. But like I really like this idea that like the reason they're always able to wiggle out of it is because they've made some deal. And obviously it's not with the devil, it's with, some other people, I'm sure. But like, do you think we ever get to see him held accountable in any way? I'm not saying like he gets
Okay. I was good. Yeah.
impeached. I'm saying maybe even if he survives for 10 more years and we have like a clean sweep and we get an investigation, we get something. Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, I don't know. My answer is no. I don't think he'll be held accountable for anything at all. I think that outside of his death, Trump will remain president for 3 more years. Maybe his reputation will be soured 15 years from now or something. But as far as him paying a price in his lifetime, I see no reason to believe that's true. I just don't. The No matter what comes out in the Epstein files, the Republicans are in an impossible situation here. They really are, and I think a lot of it is that Trump is a wild card. I think that they are. We talk about this how they're realizing that Trump's utility is running out. Like within a year, the midterm is going to be over. He's not going to be able to protect them anymore after that. They know that, and they've kind of said, well, we're going to try to scramble from the sinking ship, try to establish our own identity, but they can't. They can't come out and be virulently anti-Trump. And the reason I say that is a couple of Republicans are staking their claim to be against
Mhm.
Trump, but the vast majority of them are saying, "Oh, we support the president. We think he's innocent in this." So they would not be doing that if they thought this was the end. If they thought, "Oh, this the show's over." So yeah, I don't believe that that's going to happen.
Yeah, and I just want to mention that Frank Rumen says nothing you say makes sense.
Damn.
So, Frank, anytime something doesn't make sense, hit that like button to let us know. It'll notify us directly, and we'll make sure to send you a written explanation of what it was. But Colby says his fumbling of Epstein is making him a lame duck president in real time. You would at least, I know that you have been on team nothing bad will ever happen to Trump and he is God's favorite soldier, but I would say the odds of him becoming a lame duck, I've always said he's not making it through the 4 years through
Mhm.
hook by crook, whether it's a political reason or a health reason, he ain't making it. Do you think the odds of that have increased since we last spoke?
I guess the odds have increased just because he seems sicker. He's already old and he keeps going to the hospital. His mind seems to be dwindling. But yeah, I think that there's just too much in it for the Republicans to not alienate themselves from Trump quite yet. And especially when you think about the support that Trump has from evangelical Christians, these people have spent 10 years publicly declaring that God told them Donald Trump is the chosen one for the country. So if Trump turns out to be, for them to admit that Trump actually is a pedophile, that he is a disgusting, debased human being, they're going to have to accept one of two options. Number one, God lied to them, God misled them and made them elect someone who was evil. Or two, they were not right with God. Their family and friends were not right with God. Their clergy weren't right with God. Like everyone they know had this completely wrong spiritually. There's no way they're accepting that. There's just no chance. So yeah, I think that as long as that support base is there, he's still going to remain pretty strong in the Republican Party. What I politically tanked. Oh, John, I was going to ask you about this. You remember a few weeks ago where you pulled up that site and it said Trump's approval rating will be plus or minus like 39% in January or something? And we're like,
Mhm.
yeah, obviously it'll be below. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Can we put a bet on that? Let me
I
say.
don't know. I don't know, but I was like, I remember saying because I couldn't believe it was in the 40s. I already thought it was like at 37 because today it's at 38. I saw that, and there's a Fox News report, and there was a great thing on Fox of them saying, "Hey, you guys got to be easier on Trump." I think I can find it here and share it if you're looking for that the thing, but show the folks what we're talking about here. But Donald Trump is just tanking in the polls. So let's see what they have to say about it on good old Fox News.
President Trump's approval rating falling to 38%. That is the lowest it's been in his second term. People are unhappy with Trump's handling of consumer prices and, yes, the Epstein Files. Kim Strassel joining us this morning. Does this mean Trump's affordability messaging isn't working yet?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right, Stuart. And this is a huge wake-up call for Republicans. And if you actually look at Trump's approval rating, it actually has been sliding for a while. And I think what happened here is voters had a lot of optimism that he really was going to turn around the economy. And they've given him, 9 months now, and they've been waiting. But suddenly they've been looking around, and things really haven't improved to the degree that they thought they would on cost of living. Yeah, I mean, gas prices down in some areas of the country. There are some glimmers of good news here and there. But overall, he's not performed, and that's what the polls are saying. He's not lived up to people's expectations.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to get any better. I think that it's going to stay pretty low. I see no reason it's going to raise anytime soon.
Yeah, no, so we did not end up making a bet on it, but we can do that right now.
Is it still up? Are you serious?
So like you can bet on so many different things. Like there's always going to be. I can bet on what it's going to be on Friday if I want.
Oh wow, okay.
But this is President Trump RCP approval rating on January 1st, 2026 at 39.9 or below.
Definitely
is a 45% chance. Yes, I'm hammering that. Yes.
Oh God, yeah.
We're putting $10 on that. Yes,
I'm gonna go put 100 on it tonight. I'm gonna send you the link to that. That
is. We can always buy more. We can always buy more.
Holy shit! Yeah.
But yeah, that is where we're at. Oh, this wasn't even on the stage. This is Kalshi, by the way. Oh wait, I can't put on the stage because you have it there. This is where we're placing our bets. We have a bunch of bets, and we do these shows every once in a while where we'll go through and make bets. But yeah, so that is the bet we're making, $10 on his approval rating being below 39.9 on January 1st. Because you're right, TJ. We have the not only is there all of the Epstein shenanigans, which are really they can only make it worse. Like it can only get worse from here with Epstein, because either going to get released or he's going to block it from being released, and this is just going to continue to be a drag on his campaign. But the really important thing here is the holidays, where everyone gets stressed about money. Everyone gets stressed, and the economy is not doing great. It's doing so not great that he's not even releasing jobs reports anymore. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is not releasing a jobs report in October. It's totally because of the government shutdown, totally not for any other reason. I definitely believe that if it was a good jobs report, it still wouldn't be shown because of the government shutdown.
I saw that, and I wonder. I said, you know what? It sounds like bullshit, but that's a decent excuse, because you're right. The government was shut down, but I thought, wait a minute, there was a government shutdown, a 30-day government shutdown last time Trump was in office. Were labor stats released after that? I didn't get to check before the show, but I like to see that because, like, all right, just awful convenient because we know. I mean, the reports that we went over from the ADP or whatever, it was insane. Like it was like 100,000 jobs lost or something. I think there's been 1 million jobs lost this year. This is getting worse than we even thought. I mean, John comes from a pretty quality family when it comes to money, and I think we all know this. But I'm a soldier, salt of the earth type of guy and everything, but I've done pretty well for myself. I begin to know, like, man, I don't think I can remember stuff costing this much. I know I've moved this year. I've had a lot going on, but I said, yeah, I'm looking at money a lot more than I ever have before, and I'm doing all right. I mean, your average person out there must be really suffering. It's awful.
Yeah, no, it's got to be really hard to be a Republican who really drank the Kool-Aid on all this stuff, on the tariffs, on all that, and then to just be faced with this reality of, oh shit, things ain't going well. Like TJ, I know for the audience, I work with a lot of like finance bros, like in my day job, and they're all Republicans. They're not all, but most of them are Republicans. A hell of a lot of them are turning on Trump. A hell of a lot of them, because they work with this stuff every day. They're like, oh shit, all of this is bad. All of this is very bad for everyone. And now they didn't believe me when I told them, hey guys, he's going to do this, this, and this is going to be the outcome. And we're sitting here at the outcome. And for whatever reason, now they see it. But like, it's just it's undeniable at this point, to the point where we have Donald Trump getting up on press conferences being, prices are down, everything is good. Anyone talking about affordability is a Democrat hoax. And then on the other hand, whenever you have any of his henchmen being interviewed, whether it's Mike Johnson, whether it's Scott Bessent, whether it's any of them, they're like, oh yeah, we recognize that this is down, but that's because of Biden's economy. And it's like, they're literally just saying blatantly contradictory messages on the economy. And you know what? I'm used to that sort of shit. But if I was a Trump supporter who was like, oh shit, I'm unemployed, whatever it is, things are getting bad, Christmas is coming up, I got all this, I got this, and I got this. It's just bad. It's just bad. And the message, if I was like caring and this mattered significantly to me and my family, and I believed that this would all be looking vastly different than it does right now, shit, like that is recipe for people turning on him who otherwise would not have. Because Trump won, we can say, oh, well, we went through this, they didn't turn, but Trump one never got that bad. Like Trump, besides the pandemic, which is just a big freebie, because first of all, everyone thinks that happened under Biden for some reason. And second of all, like, okay, act of God, force majeure, I'll give you a pass. This clearly wasn't your fault. This is his. He's like, tariffs, I'm staking my flag in it. I'm fixing the economy. And oh boy, did that not happen.
Yeah, good use of force majeure, by the way. That's a good term. I like that. Yeah, the people turning on Trump, it's going to be, I mean, it's going to be the same thing, unfortunately, that if they do turn on Trump, they're not going to learn any lessons. That's the worst part about this, that they're just going to think, well, Trump was just the wrong vessel for this. And I wanted to show an example of this. This clip is about 90 seconds long, so if you permit me, but this is not about the economy, but this is about Epstein. I forgot about this until you mentioned people turning on Trump. This woman, I don't know her name, but she is an Epstein victim. And a lot of Epstein victims gathered around to talk about how disappointed they were in Donald Trump not releasing these or fighting the release of these files. So let me go ahead and pop this up here. But what she had to say was kind of stunning to me.
It is also not a hoax. We are here as American survivors of a man who used his wealth and power to hurt young girls and women. The world should see the files to know who Jeffrey Epstein was and how the system catered to him and failed us. Emotionally, this process has been distressing. First, the administration said it would release everything and applauded President Trump for that. Then it fought to release nothing. Now that checks and balances of our democracy have worked and the bill is getting passed to release the files, we are hearing the administration say they intend to investigate various Democrats who were friends with Epstein. I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class, show some real leadership, show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment. It is time to take the honest, moral ground and support the release of these files.
All right. I heard that and I was floored. I shouldn't be. I can't believe how shocked I get doing this over and over again. But I can't imagine being an Epstein victim and saying, that guy, guilty writ conviction, like 30 sexual assault cases against him, a bunch of allegations that he was on Epstein's island, that he was best friends with Epstein. Yet I'm voting for him and I trust him to get the job done. I get that she's a victim. I don't give a shit about that, okay? Like, well, actually, that's the crux of my argument here, that she's a victim and is actively voting for other people to be victimized, and she's floored, shocked, absolutely stunned that Donald Trump isn't a man of his word. And if I could point out one more thing, John, is that my favorite part about this is, well, actually, what's your response there?
So, sorry. As much as I really hesitate to pile on a victim of childhood sexual assault, and I'm sure the circumstances which lead to becoming a victim of Jeffrey Epstein probably mean you didn't have the best life before that either, and probably didn't have the best life after it. So, all due respect, come on.
Come on.
Every sentence got funnier than the last. Donald Trump, I'm going to try and convince you. Here's how I'm going to try and convince you. It's not about you. That was might be my favorite line, TJ, because Donald Trump doesn't believe anything isn't about him. In Donald Trump's mind, and again, I'm not being hyperbolic. I really feel like Republicans should agree with me on this. Everything is about him. He is the thing that matters most to him. It is so clear and obvious to all of us. And like, again, I can talk Republicans. I can like disagree on policy. We can be like, okay, yeah, you think that, immigration hurts the economy. Me and actual economists don't, but we can talk about that. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that Donald Trump doesn't primarily and almost exclusively care about numero uno, I don't even know how to talk to you about that, because it's just deny the evidence of your eyes and ears. Like, come on.
And it is actually funny that you mentioned that she says that it's not about you, because the only reason that she's turned against Trump is because he isn't about her. Like that. This is consistent with Trump supporters, that they don't give a fuck about who else is being injured. They don't care about people being shipped off into third world prisons in the Caribbean. They don't care about ICE agents kicking down people's doors and zip tying people in the street, which is, oh, he's not doing what I thought he'd do for me. It's wild. But my favorite part of this clip is right after she says that she voted for Trump. One of the other victims in the crowd can't believe her ears. If you look at the top left corner of the video, you'll see a lady like poking her head out, like, what the fuck? Hold on, watch this.
You actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been
right there. Wait, hold on.
Voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment.
That is actually my favorite part of the video. It's easy to miss. She's like, what the fuck? She pulls her head back.
That's like one of those things where you're like, the timing was immaculate. The look was immaculate. The positioning in the frame was immaculate. It's shocking that wasn't like a choreographed bit. Yes. Like, that was so funny.
I felt the same thing. Like, I couldn't have scripted that funnier than it actually was. Even her wearing like a bright colored hat to stand out from the crowd. It's like it was set up.
And we still missed it. I missed it on the first
part. That's amazing. Yeah. So weird times we're in, man. Weird times. I don't know what's going to happen with this, but it's you're right that this isn't something that's going away. Like, I think Trump is going to stall. Hey, did you see Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Marco Rubio? I think they were all doing a press conference and they're asking Pam Bondi, hey, does this investigation mean that you're going to release this? Will you release this in 30 days? And she's like, we'll follow the law. We will. And the three of them, they actually look scared. I don't, because especially Pam Bondi, a long time ago when we first started the Trump administration, we were talking about who would be the sacrificial lamb, like who would be the first one to go. Pam Bondi is looking like she's done. I mean, I say she's done a bad job. She does what the president tells her, right? And the president is a maniac, so it's kind of hard to stay consistent. But the fact that she first said, hey, I've seen thousands of hours of video and thousands of documents of Epstein doing horrible things to kids, and we're going to go after this, release the files, and then releasing nothing, and then saying, actually, there's nothing to investigate. It's all done. Like, there's actually nothing here at all. Now saying, well, there is an investigation, and we're going to look into it. There's no coming back from this. I don't know how anyone could trust Pam Bondi specifically after this, and Donald Trump in extension.
Yeah, so I'll put this on the stage here, just so we can see, because this is such a great clip here.
Prevent the department on the Epstein Files. Does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
What are the next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein Files? Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days, as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
It's almost a bit, TJ. Like it's almost it is almost the Chappelle show, Dave Chappelle, I plead the fifth. Like that is she keeps saying it. I'm gonna keep saying this answer no matter how many times you ask the question. I'm just gonna keep saying we're gonna follow the law, and I'm not going to release these goddamn files.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they have an actual game plan. The only thing I think they can do is try to stall. That's it. And it looks like they kind of know it, because the more that comes out, that the worse they're going to look. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I do know that Trump's going to be all right. Pam Bondi, not convinced.
No, like Pam Bondi is she's already in such deep shit.
Dead man walking. Yeah.
It's not just that she's in deep shit, TJ. Like, she's unlike Donald Trump, she's young. This is the thing. All of these guys, like you saw, like Kash Patel looked terrified. It wasn't Marco Rubio.
I know who that guy was. Yeah.
He must be someone in the DOJ. Well, first of all, why is Kash Patel there? Is a great question. Like why does Kash Patel need to be at this press conference? But either way, they're fucked. Like, what they're doing is very fucking illegal. Like what we talked about earlier in this show with the Comey indictment, that's fucking illegal to a scale which the judge was appalled by. Like, it is, these things have never been even attempted before, because they're so illegal that even if Donald Trump, if his little magic fairy wiggles his way out of this one again, like Pam Bondi had 40 years left on this earth where she's committed these crimes and there's no statute of fucking limitations. Like, she's not going to be protected.
Yeah. Someone's going to have to pay a price for it. Trump will be the last one, if he ever does. Like, it'll be everyone else before it happens. And I think that people will call for blood for this. I will, like, the Trump crowd, they are really beginning to hate Pam Bondi. Like, she seems to be a political liability at this point. That then again, if he replaces him with someone else, what's the next guy going to do?
Yeah, her Descartes says that Nixon's Attorney General John Mitchell was incarcerated. I did not know that. Did you know that, TJ?
No, I don't remember that. No.
Okay, well, we're gonna take your word for it, her Descartes. But you know, like there are so many people that are going to be in deep shit because there's so much illegality going on, and as soon as the protection is removed, the smoke screen is cleared. I'll tell you this, TJ, because Incognito asked also who is the main Democrat at the moment. I don't know who the main Democrat is. And yeah, like we don't need one right now. Like, it would be nice if we had one, but we don't need one. Typically, like, this is not the time where a main Democrat would emerge. But like, whoever it is needs to be vindictive. As I want to see so many trials over the next 8 years. Like, they cannot be I'm going to pardon Nixon situation. It needs to be, I'm going full bore, scorched on every illegal activity ever committed by this administration, and every single one of them will be punished to the full extent in the law. Anyone who isn't vigorously saying that, just remove yourself from the Democratic Party. You're not going to be the main guy.
This is a case in which the United States clearly drops the ball every time. Every time. Like, after the Civil War, what do? Like, mass pardons. We just let everybody go. After Nixon pardon. Bush and Cheney, just let him go. No. January 6th. I mean, I guess the people who broke into the Capitol, they went to jail, but no, we barely went after Trump for it, not with nearly enough Merrick Garland, or even, and this is something too, whenever the files, well, I don't think they will, but let's say the files do come out, and let's say they do implicate Trump. Then the question is, well, wait a minute, why wasn't he arrested already? Like, this is like kind of a weird catch-22 with the Epstein Files or whatever, that if the Epstein Files come out And let's just say it doesn't implicate anyone other than Epstein. It's hard to believe, but let's say that does happen. If it does, people are going to say they were scrubbed. They were going to say, well, Trump's had these files for a year now. He's had plenty of time to hide. It's not going to make sense. That's not how scrubbing files works, in national defense. But that's what people are going to say. And if it does implicate Trump, people are going to say, well, Biden had this for 4 years. He just doctored it. Like Trump said this a plenty of times. If these files have been doctored, they're not going to believe it. But if it is in there, why wasn't Trump investigated for this? They still could have done it during the max, but there's no defense against this if what's in the files is what we think it is. I don't know how we recover from this. Like I don't think we have the will for it. We don't have the spirit for it. I wish that was the case, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah, Colby asked if we were legally.
I am, yeah,
Colby. If I'm giving like legal analysis of any kind on this show, there is like an 80% chance I'm just copy and pasting from legal. Like, that is all. I purposely try to stay away from explaining any sort of ongoing legal case because I am not a lawyer and I don't understand this stuff to the level that so many other people out there. You should go to them for legal. Who anyone who is not here, who is here, who does not watch them, that would be my recommendation. As well as Colby's, obviously. But yeah, it is the thing is, I think that's my point here, TJ, is that Biden should have went after everyone in these files, and he didn't for reasons I think we all know. I think we all understand why Biden didn't do it. It's the same reason for all of the historical examples that you just gave, that the good guys typically win, or not typically, but when the good guys win, they want to be deferential. They want to maintain the status quo. They don't want to hurt people because they're the good guys. Again, whoever takes the torch, whoever leads the fight, whoever is next up for the Democratic Party, history tells us it's going to be a Biden. History tells us it's going to be someone who will repeat those same mistakes. However, the fact that we just went through this, we just had Trump wiggle his way out of all of the legal proceedings that even Biden was putting him up against, and the Biden administration and other state prosecutors as well. That just failed. We just saw that fail. Everyone did. The only way to actually move forward is to go full on scorched earth. You need to hang the traitors. We cannot make the mistakes that we have made time and time and time again in this country. We just need to absolutely crush everyone. And again, I'm not saying politicize the DOJ. I'm saying unpoliticize it. For the entire existence of this country, the DOJ has been politicized. Our understanding of the status quo is a politicized DOJ where it does not go after the rich and powerful in the same way it does everyone else. If we were to unpoliticize the DOJ, these motherfuckers should be getting every single book thrown at them that they would throw after some fucking petty thief on the streets of Chicago. And there's no fucking reason why we shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Do you think it'll happen though? Like if you were to bet money on it, I don't. And Chris brought up a great comment here. Remember the Panama Papers, a great example of the Panama Papers. Panama Papers came out, they were leaked showing that, rich people had been committing crimes, dodging taxes, just like awful stuff all around the world. And the government knew about it, not doing anything. It also reminded me of the business plot with Smedley Butler. For those of you who don't know of this happened in the 1930s with the FDR administration. FDR was a class traitor in a good way. He was a class traitor against the rich. And the rich people in the 30s did not like this. So all of the 1%, they ended up cobbling together an army of their own, backed by the Foreign Legion in the United States. And they said that, hey, Smedley Butler, a decorated 3-star general in the Marines, and they said, we want to take this army and march on Washington, and we are going to force FDR to essentially accept the fascist takeover. They wanted to create a new cabinet position. I can't remember the secretary of what it would be called, but this cabinet secretary would actually run the country and tell FDR what to do. And they wanted to put Smedley Butler in that position. Smedley Butler said, cool, all right, I'm in. So he stuck around for the entire thing. And when he got all the information, went straight to Congress and said, folks, this is what's happening. We got people trying to plot a fascist coup in the United States. And this actually, oddly enough, was the beginning of the House Committee on Anti-American Activities, which ended up giving us Joseph McCarthy and everything like that, oddly enough. But they investigated Butler's claim and said, oh, he's right. These people are trying to overthrow the president. And so they broke up the whole thing. The people who funded the plot never spent a day in jail. Not one. They tried to take over the fucking country 90 years ago, and they said, well, they're rich folks. What are we going to do about it? It's just not something we do here. We could solve a lot of problems if we did, but I'm not going to look forward to them actually doing it.
So, and again, TJ, like, again, it would be very irresponsible for me to sit here and tell you you're wrong. The smart money, you still bet on nothing fundamentally changing. It was the Biden campaign promise.
Yep.
Nothing will fundamentally change. We're going to paint things a different color, and we're going to continue forward as normal. And to be fair, that would have worked. Like that, if Biden wasn't ancient, I swear to God, if Biden was anybody else, and he implemented every single same exact policy during his administration that Biden did, and he was, I'm not even saying a Barack Obama. I'm saying if he was a fucking,
if he was 2016 Biden, like it would have been.
If he was Tim Walz up there, you know, if he was anyone, any normal person that like could function with a body and a brain, like it would have worked. Donald Trump would not have won the 2024 election. We would be sitting here now, back immersed in the status quo of neoliberalism, where things just continue kind of marching along. There's definitely bad things going on. We can all see the cracks, but none of us are fundamentally moved enough to do anything about it. That is what I think has changed, TJ. In 2021, Zoran Mamdani was not becoming mayor of New York. Someone mentioned in the comments earlier, Seattle. We have a communist mayor of Seattle, mayor-elect of Seattle now. We are seeing things shift aggressively, very, very quickly, in a way that is unprecedented. Because as I said, we just played this game. When what was the guy's name? I always forget. Smeagol.
Smedley Butler.
Smedley Butler. When that happened, we hadn't just seen the same exact thing happen and fail before.
Mm-hmm.
When the Civil War happened, we'd never seen that happen before, to be fair. But like, it was like, oh, well, shit. All of this really sucked. We just want to get back to normal. We just tried to get back to normal thing. It failed spectacularly. And I don't think anyone wants, I don't think Democrat, Republican, anyone, nobody wants whatever normal used to be. We want something else. And we all have different ideas of what something else is. But the point here is the status quo has never been less tenable than it is right now. And again, smart money is, you're right. We'll end up just reverting back to that status quo, and everything will go on ticking like normal. Donald Trump will get a slap on the wrist at most. All of his co-conspirators here are going to be perfectly fine. Maybe some people will end up in jail, some minor guys, like it always does. But if there was ever a time to bet on something different happening, it's right now.
Yeah, I think we should do a tier list of the funniest Trump people to end up in jail. Like, to see which one, like, that would be pretty fun to see. So, Bubba, thank you for that. I can't believe we didn't talk about that. that is like
I plan on talking to just a sneak peek, guys. We have Head in the Office as our guest tomorrow, and it could not be better for their podcast. This was marketing coup for them.
Yes. So, all right, I'll leave that to the Head in the Office boys tomorrow. Since I won't be here tomorrow, and we only have a few minutes left, there's a clip here I wanted to show. And John, I don't know if you saw this, but this is a Obama speechwriter. Her name is Sarah Hurwitz, and she's complaining about the way young people feel about Israel and Palestine. Have you seen this?
I have not seen this.
Oh my God.
I have seen this lady pop up on my feed today. I have no idea what she's about.
Oh, all right. Oh, great. All right. Love to get your immediate reaction. Here, let's go.
I think that since October 7th, but really before then, There have been huge shifts in America on how people think about Jews and Israel, and I think that is especially true of young people. So we are now wrestling with a new, I think, generational divide here. And I think that's particularly true in that social media is now our source of media. And this, it used to be that the media you got in America was American media, and it was pretty mainstream. It generally didn't express extreme anti-Israel views. You had to go to a pretty weird bookstore to find global media and fringe media. But today, we have social media, which is a global medium, right? Its algorithms are shaped by billions of people worldwide who don't really love Jews. And so while in the 1990s, a young person probably wasn't going to find Al Jazeera or someone like Nick Fuentes, today, those media outlets find them. They find them on their phones. It's also
John, I gotta stop this. I didn't know this one had that annoying ass music in this.
No, I like it. It actually keep going.
Well,
keep
it's gone. It's gone now. Sorry, I brought up another one.
All right, okay, we're coming back. While you pull it up, I just want to put up. So, a plate of delicious food asked, does head in the office condemn Hamas? A plate of delicious food. Be back tomorrow at 6:35 EST, and we can ask them directly if they condemn Hamas. I don't know. We're going to have to see. They might be harboring Hamas in their basement. Might be a big reveal on the show tomorrow. We might have Hamas on the show, actually. Just stick around. Make sure to like and subscribe.
I will say that whoever played delicious food, they must be listeners to the Head in the Office podcast, because they open up a lot of their statements with, first of all, we condemn Hamas, or do you condemn Hamas? They're hilarious. I love it so much. But okay, let's get back to Sarah.
And so while in the 1990s, a young person probably wasn't going to find Al Jazeera or someone like Nick Fuentes, today those media outlets find them. They find them on their phones. It's also this increasingly post-literate media, less and less text, more and more videos. So you have TikTok just smashing our young people's brains all day long with video of carnage in Gaza. And this is why so many of us can't have a sane conversation with younger Jews, because anything that we try to say to them, they are hearing it through this wall of carnage. So I want to give data and information and facts and arguments, and they are just seeing in their minds carnage, and I sound obscene. And, I think, unfortunately, the very smart, bet that we made on Holocaust education to serve as anti-Semitism education, in this new media environment, I think that is beginning to break down a little bit, because, Holocaust education is absolutely essential. But I think it may be confusing some of our young people about anti-Semitism because they learn about big, strong Nazis hurting weak, emaciated Jews. And they think, oh, anti-Semitism is like anti-Black racism, right? Powerful white people against powerless Black people. So when on TikTok all day long they see powerful Israelis hurting weak, skinny Palestinians, it's not surprising that they think, oh, I know, the lesson of the Holocaust is you fight Israel. You fight the big, powerful people hurting the weak people.
Yeah, actually. You hit the nail on the fucking head, lady. That's exactly the lesson we learned from the Holocaust. John, so you hadn't seen that before. Your immediate reaction?
Wow, so much good shit there, TJ. Like, yeah, you're right. I want to if you have more of what she has to say, I would love to hear it, because yeah, lady, that first of all is something I really hate, and it's thrown out all the time of like the Holocaust having, if you apply it to what's happening in Israel and Gaza, it's like, oh, well, the Jews were the victims of the Holocaust. Like, well, they were not the only victims. Like, that is to take nothing away from the particular damage that was done to the Jewish people during the Holocaust, but there was a shitload of other groups of people who were wrapped up in the Holocaust, millions of people who died from other groups. And it wasn't because they were Jewish, it's because they were weak outcasts. They were the targets of an outright fascist movement. And that movement, the target is almost unnecessary. Like, it doesn't matter what the race or gender or sexuality or anything of the outcast group of people is in fascism. All that matters is that they are weak and easily identifiable as the other. That's all that fucking matters. So again, yes, it's important to recognize that the Holocaust did happen to Jewish people primarily, but that doesn't mean that Jewish people are incapable of fascism themselves. It's such one of the most wild arguments that exists. And well, I mean, a lot of people just accepted it forever. But yeah, like, it's just, yeah, girl, if your problem is, this is my immediate retort to her argument here. So you're saying that you're trying to present facts and data, and people can't hear it, can't see it, because there's this screen of carnage in Gaza that they keep seeing over and over again. It's like, well, then I don't know. Israel has access to all of the same social media as everyone else does. If it was really so bad for all of the Jewish people in Israel, why don't you just show all the carnage happening to them? Why don't you just show all the carnage happening to Israel, to the people in Israel, that you're now inflicting on the people of Gaza? Because then it would make sense. Now I can buy that argument. So is it just there is all of this carnage happening, and you just think that Israel sucks at propaganda? Yeah. Or maybe what you're doing is completely fucking unjustifiable, regardless of whether or not you're Jewish.
It's I mean, I agree on all counts, John. It is insulting. I mean, insulting is the wrong word. It's disrespectful. It is inhuman. It is inhuman to say that the Holocaust happened and the lesson that we learn is that Israel is always right. That's essentially, it's like you can't compare it to, because I've heard this too, where people say you actually can't compare it to other genocides. Why the fuck not? Like, why not? Because you bring up the fact that, well, they're like for example, the Belgians, they massacred millions of people in the Congo. Well, that's different. No, not particularly, actually, not meaningfully. If your lesson is people, like large, powerful entities, shouldn't subjugate and kill weaker ones or humans. That's the lesson learned. And John, I'm so glad I love that you said, wow, I wonder what else she said, because I wondered that too. Because I saw that, I said, there is no fucking way that's the. By the way, you know what's so insane about this? That was a prepared statement. She was reading it. Like, she wrote that out and still went for it. And I said, I've got to find more, because the clips I kept finding were those 2-minute clips. I said, maybe I'm being uncharitable here. So I went to YouTube and I found the actual speech she made. This video, it'll probably be like 2.5 minutes. Like, she does offer for a while, but it's worth it to hear what she has to say, because I wanted to know if she would redeem herself. So let's give Ms. Horwath a shot here.
Being weak, emaciated Jews. And they think, oh, anti-Semitism is like anti-black racism, right? Powerful white people against powerless black people. So when on TikTok all day long they see powerful Israelis hurting weak, skinny Palestinians, it's not surprising that they think, oh, I know, the lesson of the Holocaust is you fight Israel. You fight the big, powerful people hurting the weak people. That's not how the Holocaust happened, right? We all know that. We know that it happened because the Germans insisted that the Jews, 1% of the population, were responsible for all their problems, just like people insist that Israel, the size of New Jersey, is responsible for all the world's problems today.
That is not what people are saying. That there's more to this, John, but we're going to pause throughout this entire thing. But her speech is that, oh, their lesson was that the Holocaust was that weak people being subjugated by powerful people is wrong. That's not the lesson of the Holocaust. The lesson of the Holocaust is that Germans blamed their problems on 1% of the population, the Jewish people, and now the world is blaming their problems on 1% of the problem with Israel. That's, dude, I don't remember anyone ever saying that. Like, nobody on our side has said, yeah, the problem is the strong people killing the weak ones. That is the issue. Yeah, you're
TJ, we have probably put together, I don't know, rough estimate, 40 hours of content minimum on Israel in particular.
Yeah.
If you go through, watch every goddamn minute of that, at no point do we ever blame, let alone all the world problems, any of the world's problems on Israel. We blame the problems in Palestine on Israel and that conflict in particular, but I don't know. I'm not blaming increasing grocery prices on Israel. that's not. I'm not blaming the fucking genocide in Sudan on Israel. No, they are blamed for the one particular thing which they are doing, in which they are the bigger, more powerful party in. I've never heard anyone blame the fucking climate change on Israel, TJ.
All right, let's see what she has to say. It keeps getting better.
But that's not really what you take away from Holocaust education. You take away the images of power, powerless. And you also don't really learn about Islamist anti-Semitism and Soviet anti-Zionism, which is so much of what I'm seeing, especially on campus with young people today. And I think that zooming back right now, I think American Jews are kind of wrestling with a category that our ancestors in Europe made 250 years ago, where as we transitioned to modern nation states and they wanted to get secular jobs, go to secular universities, they kind of had to reimagine Judaism to fit in. right? You couldn't just be a Jew. You needed to be like a French person of the Jewish persuasion, a German of the Jewish faith. So we kind of reimagined Judaism as a Protestant-style religion, which, look, it worked really well for us, 250 years, very successful. The problem is we're not just a religion, right? We can all reject every aspect of Jewish religion. We're still Jews, nor are we a race or an ethnicity. Jews are all different races and ethnicities. We are a nation, civilization, tribe, peoplehood, but most of all, we're a family. And so if you are a young person raised in America who thinks Judaism is a Protestant-style religion, then the 7 million Jews in Israel are merely your co-religionists. So like, if my co-religionists, I look at them, and if they're not practicing my religion of social justice and certain prophetic values, then what do I have to do with them? It would be like telling a mainline, very progressive Protestant in Berkeley, California, you have to care about that Pentecostal in Brazil. It doesn't make sense. But that's a category error, right? The 7 million people in Israel, they are not my co-religionists, they are my siblings. But I think if you think of them as merely your co-religionists, it's very easy to slide into anti-Zionism. You don't necessarily have that connection to them. And I have to say, I think to conclude, it's becoming increasingly clear that the kind of contentless, bagel and lox, Jewish mother joke identity that many American Jews have, it just doesn't cut it anymore. When your Jewish identity is a big empty void with a few ethnic jokes rattling around in it, it will be filled by what is around you. And if what is around you is anti-Semitism, you will be helpless to fight back. If someone tells you that the Jewish God is violent and vengeful and Judaism is a legalistic, unloving religion, and you know nothing about Jewish tradition, what will you say? Tikkun olam? It's not a great answer. If they say that Israel is a genocidal, racist state, and you know nothing about Jewish history or Israel, we're going to be like, I like Seinfeld. It doesn't work. We need to know our Jewish story in a way that when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, I didn't really. I could get away with that identity. Young people who have that empty Jewish identity today, it is being filled by anti-Semitism, and we need to give them the content to protect them.
All right, John, as someone who is ethnically Jewish, what are your thoughts here? Have you strayed away from your roots, John, because you weren't supporting your brothers and sisters in a genocide halfway across the world?
It's wild, DJ. Basically, her entire argument, they take away all the nice, nice whitewashing language she just said. Her entire argument is we need to not look at people as equals and instead have an extremely tribalistic worldview where our people are more important than any other people, where we need to consider the Jewish people over in Israel as more important than anyone else because we're siblings with them. We're a family. Why the fuck aren't the Palestinians part of your family, bro? Why are they? Why do you care more about the stranger in fucking Israel who happens to be Jewish than the stranger in fucking Gaza who happens to be Muslim or maybe even also fucking Jewish? I don't. It's so frustrating. And she says it too. She's like, well, if it wasn't for the people seeing what was happening, we used to be able to cover that all up. And now we can't. And we need to go back to a time when people couldn't see the consequences of the atrocities we commit. And they could just be okay with just not knowing. That is correct me if I'm wrong. This seems to be the argument she is making, is that we need more tribalism, less access to information in order to continue doing what we want to do. That seems to be the exact argument she is making.
John, it is stunning that is her actual argument. Because when I saw the first clip, I said, okay, I don't want to be uncharitable. You have a chance. I see things through rose-colored glasses when someone says something that seems too cartoonishly evil on the other side. So that's why I wanted to watch the rest of the clip and why I wanted to show it here, because nope, every sentence she said was worse than the preceding sentence. It just kept getting worse. And the line she mentioned with the siblings, and that, yeah, you don't see these as just, fellow practitioners of a faith or fellow members of an ethnic group. These are your brothers and sisters. It's like, look, I have a great relationship with my brother and my sister. My siblings are fantastic people, not quite as successful, charming, or good looking as I am, but they're amazing folks. And if they gave me a call and said, hey, TJ, the cops are after you or something, yeah, I'd help them out. Of course, if they killed 50,000 people, I'd be like, Sorry, I can't help you. In fact, I'm turning you in. Okay, this has to be put to it. I don't give a shit if they're my relatives, if they're committing a crime like that. And how, listen, this is why this was so hard to watch and hard to believe. Her argument is essentially this. We talked about how the images from Gaza are turning people against us. It's like, man, if only we could control the media more. It's like,
Very funny. She's like, oh, if all you care about is Jewish stereotypes, you're not going to be great. But what we really need to do as Jews is control the medium.
I'm just like, what? This seems too evil for me. I can't believe this. I don't know. It's just that everything going on. Yeah, that like John said, the whole argument is the lesson to learn from the Holocaust is that Israel is always right. And you can't criticize. She doesn't even bother to offer a moral justification. A lot of times these folks will say stuff that, oh, well, the Arabs attacked first, or these people are savages, or this land is actually ours from 5,000. She doesn't even bother with that. She's like, nope, it's right. And, it's important. The conflation between anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, tired as fuck, but of course she went down that road. But yeah, I had to show that here because I won't get a chance to do it tomorrow, but absolutely amazing stuff.
No, that was absolutely brilliant. I loved every second of that. I'm glad we watched the whole thing because I was like, well, where's she going to land this ship? And she lands it at, yeah, we need her literal argument. And again, whoever you are, I would love to talk to you about this. I would relish an opportunity to have you explain this that I'm wrong here. But again, anyone in the comments, let me know. Drop a fucking comment. Explain how I'm wrong here. Her argument is Jewish people should care more about other Jewish people than they care about anyone else. That is literally her argument. Utterly insane. Utterly fucking insane. You know who else made a very similar argument?
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. I was thinking the same thing. I'm pretty sure. Go ahead.
I was going to say Matt Walsh. Is that where you thought I was going?
Yep, that's what I was thinking. Matt Walsh. Yep.
Yeah. So I posted. I don't even know if this was today. I just saw this on Threads. But he made this argument, and it kind of there's a part of it that makes sense where he says, I am America only in the same sort of sense that I am my family only. My first priority is my family. I will never, which I think is very funny. He's like, my family only. Then he goes, my first. You could just said fucking America first. I will never put any other family above my own. I will help other families only to the extent that it brings no harm to my family. There will never be a time when the interests of another family will come before my own. If I had to choose between rescuing 1,000 strangers from a fire or just one of my children, I will choose my child without hesitation. Now, there's parts of that I think we can all agree with. I think that most of us would say, yeah, I would save my own child from a fire before I save someone else's child. I would save my own child from a fire before I saved two people's children from a fire, whatever. At a certain point, it becomes obviously immoral, where it's like, if I can save my own child from a fire or 100 other children, I would still maybe do it, but I at least admit that it was wrong to do. But to extend that logic to anything other than my literal children and my literal parents and my literal siblings, that is the jump that I feel like most people make that has just never made sense to me. I do not understand why someone born 2,000 miles to the west of me, I should care more about than someone born 2,000 miles to the south of me. They're both equal strangers. It doesn't matter. If you're Jewish, you shouldn't care more about the people of Israel than you do any other fucking people in the goddamn world. If you are Christian, you shouldn't care any more about other Christians than you do about anyone else in the goddamn world. There's no fucking reason for this. And if you were to sit back and treat everyone as equals in this situation, yeah, you're going to notice that one side is skinny and weak and malnourished and bombed to shit and living in abject poverty. And the other side is living in kind of a normal fucking society. And it's like, yeah, I don't really give a shit about whatever justification you have for this. You're clearly wrong because we're seeing the weak, scrawny, malnourished, poor people being abused by the big, powerful, strong people, and that is always wrong. I don't give a shit what fucking tribe you're from.
Matt Walsh and folks like him, they kind of see world events, their attitude towards nationalism and world events. The only way I identify with it is during the week of the Olympics or something. Like when
Yeah,
the Olympics
yeah,
are
yeah,
right,
I always think nationalism should go as far as you will support your favorite sports team.
Yeah.
That is the extent to which I will accept nationalism. Anything beyond that is unhealthy.
Yeah, like if the Olympics are on and it's underwater basket weaving, I'm like USA, fuck everybody else. You know, that's how I feel. But when it comes like life, I always thought it was weird whenever you would hear a news report and say there was an earthquake in Bangladesh and it killed 40 people. 3 of them were Americans. I was like, oh, am I supposed to care more that 3 Americans died? Like I didn't know them. This doesn't mean anything to me. But that's how people operate. And the Matt Walsh thing, I think he may have tweeted today or yesterday, but I remember seeing it all over the internet too. And it reminded me of a tweet from a long time ago from Matt Walsh. And do you remember when Harambe got shot?
Yes,
the
of course.
gorilla.
I was in college when Harambe got shot, TJ. It was very big deal. It was a very big deal.
So when Harambe got shot, it sparked this national conversation. For those of you who don't remember it, there was a gorilla in the Cincinnati Zoo, and a 3-year-old boy got into the gorilla enclosure, and the gorilla got close to the boy. And the zookeepers were, afraid the gorilla might hurt him. So they ended up shooting the gorilla and killing him. And people were saying stuff like, well, maybe you shouldn't have shot the gorilla. It was a moral, ethical question. So Matt Walsh had thought, have you seen this? Or you remember this?
I can't read what you have, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Okay, yeah, you probably know. So Matt Walsh tweeted out that I would kill every ape in the world to save one human because humans are more important. This is a very simple concept, folks. And then this guy responded, would you suck every ape's dick to save one human? Which is a great question. Matt Walsh never responded to it as far as I know. But yeah, like we all think, we have hierarchies of importance, but there is a level where you're like, okay, well, what are you going to do here? But yeah, Matt Walsh is just grandstanding. That's what he does, but it's fun.
That's one of the greatest replies in
amazing.
Like, honestly, if I'm a journalist and I'm interviewing Matt Walsh on any subject, I'm following up on that question.
Would you suck every ape's dick to save
the
one
answer
human?
has to be yes.
Like
to be logically consistent, the answer has to be, if you're willing to commit ape genocide, you must be willing to commit whatever the opposite of that is in order to save a human's life. And if you got to suck every ape stick in the world, gosh darn it, you better do it, Matt.
Yeah. Logistically, you could do it like on a loan. You wouldn't have to do it all at one time, but like every time you get the opportunity, they'll line the ape up and you can go to town. But all right, so gotta run, but time's running out, folks. Any last thoughts here, John?
One last thought. So Jim Durden said, I agree with this, pretty sure, my rant on Israel there and Matt Walsh. But if you agree with this, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we do this every Tuesday and Thursday. I know it's a Wednesday. That's abnormal. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:35 EST. We will be back tomorrow. TJ won't be. I will, with some of our favorite guests, the Head in the Office podcast. I'm very excited about that.
Gage and Jeremy, good folks. They're good
exactly. I always forget their actual names. They're just the Head in the Office podcast. They come on the show and they got the little thing underneath them. But yes, wonderful. Thank you guys very much for joining. Be with us. This is a terrible outro. Just, you know what? Watch. Just like, subscribe, watch.
Watch the show. Later. Okay, bye. Oh, good stuff.